Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Welcome, everybody, to a more happy edition of I'll Hang Up and Listen. And in the words of Alex Tuck, woo! Or was that Ric Flair? No, I'll do a better Alex Tuck one. Woo! Love it. I absolutely love it. Little post-game routine after a big W. And Sabres run away with this one pretty early. Taking a 3-0 lead, I think, like the first 5 minutes of the first period. They never looked back, never gave up the lead, winning 7-2 tonight. 5-point game, 2 goals and 3 assists from Jeff Skinner. 4-point night for Alex Tuck, a goal and 3 assists. Duane looked great. Samuelsson looked very comfortable in his first game back from injury. Jokiharju gets on the board with a nice feed from Alex Tuck as he curled around the backside. And I think everything went right tonight for Buffalo. And, you know, the puck luck was there. They were going to the net. They were being aggressive in front of both nets. And maybe that is a Samuelsson effect, you know, especially in the defensive zone. I would say, you know, Tyson Yost looked good out there. You know, he definitely served his purpose. First shift as a Buffalo Sabre, gets into a fight. You know, and, you know, the MO on him is he's a great defensive forward. And I have to agree, defensively, he looked really good out there. On the penalty kill, he looked really good out there. And the thing I like about that deal, even though like it's not like a big needle mover, but it creates more internal competition because you see guys come out of the lineup like Peyton Krebs, who haven't been performing very well. And now they're going to have to fight to get themselves back in the lineup. And, you know, competition is the one thing that will tell you the most about a player. And if they cave under, you know, when faced with adversity and competition, then they're not cut out for the NHL. So I think Peyton Krebs is the type of guy that will, you know, thrive when faced with a challenge or faced with adversity. So, you know, hopefully, you know, he performs well enough in practice and the next opportunity that presents himself, he sees himself back in the lineup. And they really needed this. You couldn't, you know, stare 9 games in a row in the face and have that happen. Get that first win in what feels like 2 to 3 weeks. And now you head into 90s night, a second chance redemption for the Buffalo Sabres after they flubbed it 2 years ago when they came out with the knockoff jerseys, misspelled jerseys, the whole 9 yards, the whole shebang. You know, during a season under Ralph Kruger, which we'd all love to forget. But you get to get that win heading in tomorrow night back at home, a game where many of us will be in attendance to honor the goat head back there. You know, guys like Alex Tuck, who grew up loving this hockey team, lived next door to Tim Conley, you know, played street hockey wearing that jersey with Tim Conley probably. You know, to have an opportunity to don that jersey. I even tweeted it out earlier. I was like, if it's okay with Kyle Okposo, who isn't playing right now, let Tuck wear the C for one night, just one night. And I don't think any guy on this team will really take that offensively. I think that would mean the world to a guy like Alex Tuck to, you know, be able to don that jersey and wearing that letter. I think, you know, that would mean the world to him. And why not? You know, again, if this locker room is mature enough and the leadership, you know, group is strong enough, who's going to care? You know, you're not making a final decision on who the new captain is post Kyle Okposo. You're just giving it to a guy who, you know, tomorrow night would mean the world to him. But that's, you know, I'm not going to jump down that rabbit hole. But regardless, 7-2 Sabres win tonight. First win in the last 8 games. Last 9, sorry. A lot to talk about, a lot to jump into here. Buffalo played a very, very aggressive style of hockey tonight. They didn't allow Montreal to have much time with the puck. They pressured the D. They played very aggressively in front of both nets. They weren't puck watching. That's the biggest thing defensively, is you didn't see a ton of puck watching this time around, where guys are staring down at the puck instead of taking their man in front, tying up sticks. Because that's one of the things that was absolutely killing them, in those 8 games defensively, is just you were a train wreck. You were everything you were taught in Pee Wee hockey, you were just completely disregarding it and just falling into so many bad habits. I saw a tweet earlier about, the biggest difference between the previous 8 games and tonight is puck luck and they got average goals tonight. I don't think goaltending had anything to do with that 8-game losing streak at all. I mean, sure, you probably wanted a save here or there, maybe in a couple of those games, but this team was a train wreck defensively. Getting back Matthias Samuelsson in this lineup, it did make a world of difference, but the thing that scares me the most with that is that losing that guy is that much of a difference. Like, I think you need to add some depth on your blue line so that when you do lose that guy, God forbid it happens again, or it's Dahlin or Owen Power next, that you don't, turn into a train wreck on the blue line, that you can survive 1 or 2 weeks without that guy, because these guys it's an 82 game season. It's a physical season. It's an exhausting season. You can't allow the loss of one guy to determine the outcome of your year. You can't. You remember what happened with Jack Eichel? I hate saying his name on this show, but when Jack Eichel had that ankle injury before the season even started, how much it affected that season. And, it sucks. It really does. So, you have to add some depth there, in my opinion, to allow yourself to be able to, have injuries like that and still be successful to an extent. So, we're going to jump right in here. I am going to be joined by my 2 goalies, 1 mic co-host here at some point, Johnny Cullen, making his infamous return. He would have been on here with me to start, but let me check my phone here to see if he's gotten back to me. He had a call from a goalie dad that he had to take not too long ago. So the second he's off the phone with that hockey dad, he'll be right on here with us. So with that being said, 7-2 win for the Buffalo Sabres. As I stated before, 5-point night from Jeff Skinner, easily by and far his best game performance of the season. Tage Thompson, just want to touch on him real quick. As an impressive a season as Rasmus Dahlin is having, I mean, we saw a lot, on Twitter, on social media over the past couple hours. He's on pace for, close to 40 goals and over 100 points. Will that happen? I mean, maybe, who knows? It's always hard to sustain like paces like that. Like 2 weeks ago, Connor McDavid was on pace for 170 points, and now he's on pace for like 130. Like, it's very much likely to fluctuate. But, you're going to go into cold spats. Like, Sabres went on an 8-game losing streak. Who's to say maybe Dahlin doesn't, go on like a 3 or 4 game pointless streak, here and there. It could happen, even to the best players in the NHL. Like, it's going to happen. But with as good of a season as Rasmus Dahlin is, and how impressive and important to this team that he is, Tage Thompson has been the best player in the NHL, I would say, over the past 2 weeks, and I don't even think it's negotiable. And that's not me being biased. You just watch him out here, a player of his size, and you add the skill set to it. 2 years ago, we were all dogging him, myself included, for the constant toe drags through traffic, just that one extra move, not picking his head up, not using his size to his advantage. After seeing last season and how that went for him, the career year that he had, and then Kevin Adams signing him to that big extension, I wasn't worried at all, because the one thing with Tage Thompson that he discovered last season, it wasn't even just that move to the center ice position. It was the fact that you had a guy who's 6'7" finally realize he's 6'7". And when I say that, 2 years ago, this guy did not have any physicality to him. You know, he played like he was the size of Nathan Gerbe. Um, and it was infuriating to watch sometimes because this guy could literally just lower his shoulder and have his way with most players in this league. His hands are incredible. We've seen it even before this 38 goal campaign last year. We've seen it with him. It's just when he finally discovered how big he is and how unbelievable of a shot he has, and he put that all together last season under Don Granato. That's why when he signed that deal, I'm like, I am telling you right now, that contract is going to be a steal. It is going to be a steal, and we are going to be comparing it to Nathan McKinnon. I guarantee you, a year from now, we're going to be looking at Tage Thompson's deal and be like, that is as close to as much bang for your buck as the Nathan McKinnon contract was as you're going to get, if not better. And it all depends on how much success they have in the postseason. If they win a cup, it's really going to depend on that kind of stuff. But with that being said, he's just been unstoppable. Like these fancy moves you're seeing him make through traffic, like through multiple opponents. Like he's doing this on a nightly basis, and it's remarkable. Like I go up and down my Twitter feed, and every other hockey announcer is tweeting about Tage Thompson. It's unbelievable, man. Honest to God, like the Hart Trophy isn't always about who ends up with the most points in the league. It really isn't. It's about who is the most valuable player to their team. And right now, both Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin, especially I'm not going to count my eggs before they hatch. If this team finds a way to make it to the playoffs, if they can inch their way in, how can you not talk about them as being the MVP Hart Trophy candidates? For sure, Dahlin with the Norris, because, and again, I'm not going to count my eggs before they hatch. I'm not going to put the wagons in front of the horse. But, I mean, look at how well they're playing. And when they're playing at this level, their team is winning. And that's how important they are to this team. And that's nothing against guys like Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, whoever you want to talk about in the conversation with the Hart Trophy. But these guys are playing at that level right now. They just are. Like, I hate to bring up his name again. That year we had with Jack Eichel a couple of years ago, where literally for 2 months he was the best player in the NHL. There was no doubting it. That's the type of talent you're seeing right now with both Dahlin and Tage Thompson. And it's exciting hockey to watch. Like, even when he was losing, these guys are just performing out of their minds, doing everything they can to win. And, adding 4 more points to that streak that he's on right now. And then Skinner getting now with that 5 point, he's at 19 points in 19 games. Remember when he was buried on the 4th line under Ralph Kruger? It's just unbelievable, man. Just such a fun hockey game to watch. And we got some comments already here in the peanut gallery. Paramat Pictures. I said it on Twitter before, and I'll say it again. Montreal screwed Montreal. I love it. I absolutely love it. Amen. Hallelujah. Miracles. This. Imagine playing physical, playing with grit, and not backing down from intimidation from opponents. Light at end of tunnel. I'm shocked. I love to hear the optimism. It's like night and day with you, Mauricio. It's fantastic. I just love it. The other night you were just all doom and gloom, and now you're like, there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's great. Krister, what a game tonight. Very aggressive, going to the net, finally playing the way they should play. Awesome watching Joe get into a fight. See you all at 90s night. We'll see you there, bud. I'll be there. If the script goes accordingly, Middlestat will become the most popular player on the team. Maybe not necessarily best, but the most entertainment. People's champ. Foley has got the phenom. Oh, I love a good wrestling analogy. Pressuring the puck, taking your man in defensive zone, plus puck luck, more defensive awareness, forechecking, driving to the net, rebounds and screens, playing with confidence and assertive. Yeah, like I said, that like leading into this, it's like everything is finally clicking. Like, it wasn't goaltending that was hurting you. It really wasn't. And it wasn't, not even just puck luck. It's just doing all of those things that you just said, Mauricio, and putting them in 60 minutes, driving to the net, protecting your own net front, forechecking, being physical. All of those things matter. It's in when you look at it through a lens, through the analytics side of things, Yeah, all that information is fine and dandy, but when you're not doing the other things outside of the charts and outside of the graphs correctly enough, all that information really doesn't matter. You could have a great expected goals for of over 50%. That's fine and dandy. But if you're playing soft every single shift, if you're getting beat the pucks and you're not playing aggressive in front of both nets, especially in the offensive zone, like you're not going to win hockey games. It's not going to end up in a good result for you. So, yeah, 100%, man. Just they won a ton of board battles. They were winning the neutral zone. The one goal, I believe it was Skinner, fed the puck out to Tuck. Yeah, Skinner battled in the corner and then found Tuck. At the top of the circle, Tuck walked in, shot, and scored. Like that. Those are the things that you don't find on a chart sometimes. Just winning that battle in a corner, coming out with the puck, and finding the open man. And then it was an easy goal for him. And Jake Allen, that goal by Skinner to get for his 5th point, how great was that to see him flip out and just smash his stick. And then Skinner just like chirping. It was fantastic, man. I loved every second of it. So, I'm going to pull up some highlights here in a second, and we're going to go over the box score. But just what a fun night to watch from home. Would have been great if they were playing Montreal at home here in Buffalo. So you sing their stupid soccer song to the Montreal fan in attendance. I always hate it when they come here. They say ole 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 ole. Shut up. Stick it up your hoop. Would have loved for this to have been a home game tonight, just so we can send them home crying. But again, just a fun game to watch. Anderson comes up big a few times. And again, when you're playing that well, both offensively and defensively, yeah, you can win with average goaltending, 100%. You don't need your goalie to be Dominic Hasek back there every night. And Anderson played more than good enough to win tonight, made some very timely saves, and helps Buffalo get to 8-11. Unfortunately, still got to win 3 more to get back to 500. Hopefully that happens over the next 3 games, because I would like those vibes that we had back in the start of the season. So quick over the box score. Jeff Skinner leading the way with 2 goals and 3 assists and 5 shots on goal. Tage Thompson, a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. He had 8 shots on goal tonight. Donnelly with a goal and 2 helpers for 3 points and 2 shots on goal. Alex Tuck, a goal, 2 assists, 3 points, 3 shots on goal. Dylan Cousins with a nice with 2 apples. Vinny Hinostroza with an assist. Henry Jokiharju with a goal. JJ Paterka with a goal. I wish I'd take a quick look at his rookie campaign and see how he's shaken out right now, because I believe how many goals now is that for him? I don't know if that is counting tonight, but if that is counting tonight, he's got 4 goals and 9 assists on the season so far in 21 games. Nice start to his career, for sure. I love JJ in his game. He's gonna be he's the type of guy that I hope stays around Buffalo for a long time, because he is such a solid 200-foot hockey player. There's absolutely no denying it at all. To finish things up here at the box score, Jack Quinn with an assist. And that was just about it. Let me see here. And Craig Anderson with 29 saves on 31 shots. He improves his record. Let's see how many wins he has on the season now. Let's take a quick gander at that, because I believe if NHL.com hasn't been updated yet, which I don't think it has been, that'll put him at 4-3 on the season, and that would be his 312th win of the season, putting him at 312 and 267 for his career. And I like Andy's just been a really calming presence in the back of the net for Buffalo, right? Like he for the most part, he always makes the saves he's supposed to make. He'll bail you out with a save here and there. And I'm not sure, I haven't read too much up on the Comrie injury and how serious that is. But who knows how long we'll see UPL up here in Buffalo. But if he is up here for next in the future, I couldn't think of a better goaltender to have mentoring him on a game-to-game basis and in practice than Craig Anderson, right? They're both bigger goaltenders. I think UPL is more of a athletic, butterfly goaltender, or Andy is more of like a hybrid style. Like he does play the butterfly, but he's not afraid to stand up and make a kick save and stuff like that. Like he's still got that older, because he's 41 years old. He's been around since the early 2000s. So he's played a couple different styles of goaltender as the position has evolved over the years. He's definitely, himself had to evolve and adapt. So the guy has been through a lot in this league. And again, I couldn't think of a better guy to help mentor Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen than him, man. It's just, it's been a lot of fun. There was a stat here that was kind of wild in terms of Tage Thompson's season. I'm going to see if I can find it. It might have been from Dmitry Filipovic or blah, blah, blah. Last 13 games. Yep, Dmitry Filipovic. Last 13 games for Tage Thompson. 12 goals, 11 assists, 127 shot attempts, 78 shots on goal, 35 high danger chances. And then his next bullet point is, LOL, I love this dude. This one is via me, but still feel free to reference it in your work. Listen, like he is having a very MVP level season. Absolutely no denying it. He has been playing on another planet right now. And he's so fun to watch. 2 years ago, man, he would be pulling those toe drags, but his timing would be off. He'd be trying to do it through 3 players. He wouldn't be, while in the process of doing it, powering himself through the opponent with his body, lowering the shoulder. He wasn't playing with that confidence, and that confidence matters so much. Even if you're a high level, elite level player, like if you're not playing with confidence, you're not going to be able to pull the things off that he does. And he's doing this on a nightly basis, man, a nightly basis. And I just want to bring up here, so if I can bring up these highlights, and I'll share my screen with you all, because it's been something. It's been extremely fun to watch. I'll just pull up Twitter here and see if I can pull up the highlights here real quick for the 2 goalies on Mike handle, because we definitely, for the most part, tweeted out all the goals. So let's see here. Let's see. See if I can find it. All right. I apologize for the hang up here. Let me see. Okay, if I can find it. As you all sit here and wait for me. This is very unprofessional. I apologize. There we go. Okay, let's bring up the goals here from tonight's matchup. The 7-2 victory for the Buffalo Sabres over the Montreal Canadiens. If my Twitter account does want to agree with me here. Apparently not. That's annoying. Let's see if I can just pull it up on Google. This is come on. Where is it? For whatever reason, it doesn't want to agree with me right now. I'll keep trying to bring it up. And we're still waiting for Jonathan Cullen to report for duty here. I literally spoke to him right before we hopped on here live, and he got a phone call, and I'm still waiting for him. He's probably pooping or something. Who knows? But checking the highlights or the rest of the box score here for the Montreal Canadiens. Only 2 goals tonight, coming from fan favorite around the league, Cole Caulfield. He had a goal and 5 shots on goal. And the next goal was from Sean Monahan, 4 shots on goal. Jake Allen having a rough night back there. He was in for all 7, 31 saves and 38 shots. And you want to know what, man? He was given 0 help on a lot of those opportunities. So, again, I'm not sure if this record has been updated yet or not. They're either 8-11 or 9-11 with tonight's win. So not too sure if this has been updated or not. But yeah, I just one of the things I noticed most with this win tonight is, again, as I mentioned to start the post game, is that they pressured the puck carrier very, very, very often. Um, they weren't allowing Montreal much time with the puck without having a face, have somebody right in their face, making them make quick decisions and making them make mistakes. That was definitely, without a doubt, the biggest difference for me that I saw with tonight's game. Is this they weren't sitting back and allowing the play to come to them. They were themselves taking the play to Montreal. So, like that was the biggest difference for me. And just seeing the comment, again, the penalty kill, the power play, everything was just clicking for them tonight. And again, just absolute breath of fresh air, right? It's just, things that we haven't seemingly had go our way over the last 8 games. Everything just finally starts to click for them. And again, it was just a lot of fun to watch, and I can't say enough. Like, you play like that. I mean, you're not always going to score 7 goals, but if you play a consistent, hard-nosed hockey game like that, and you're not always going to have like the highlight reel plays and those plays you're making in transition, like the way Tage Thompson was today. Sometimes you're going to have to go to the net and bang home a rebound, just like the way JJ Paterka did. Jack Quince on a puck on net. Dylan Cousins was banging home the rebound, trying to bang home the rebound, and then it's JJ Paterka right on the doorstep. Jake Allen didn't even know the puck was there underneath his pad, just taps it home for his 4th of the season. Those are the kind of goals this team is going to have to score as often as they can. And again, as impressive as tonight was, I think, again, between the Tuck, Thompson, and Skinner line, I think they combined for 12 points between the 3 of those guys tonight. It's not always going to be like that. You can't always have it fall on their shoulders. We're going to need that secondary scoring. As fun as tonight was, you just need this more scoring to come from your bottom 9 forwards. It can't always be those top 3 guys, and that's something that Buffalo has dealt with a lot in the past. Dating back to Jack and the Reinhardt line when they had Skinner, how much of that scoring would come from them. There's just a lot of stuff that they need to start, not just working on, but just getting more contribution from the entire lineup and not just from those 3, without a doubt. So I'm sitting here trying to find these damn highlights, and nothing really is cooperating. I apologize, guys, because those of you that are watching with me live right now, I want to be able to share these freaking highlights with you, but nothing seems to be going my way. It's pretty annoying. But I'll pull up some more stuff here from the peanut gallery. Just guys want to give me a moment here. Let's see. Oh wow, lot more comments here from Tom Clark. Thompson only 3 goals and 9 points away from McDavid. Crazy to say that. Agreed. Connor McDavid's the best player in the world. I don't really there's any debating right that. But right now, I think Tage Thompson is the best player in the league, the way he's been playing. Just this nonstop, just this fire pace he's been on. His ability, the confidence he's playing with it. And when you combine that confidence with the amount of skill set he has and his size, not many teams are going to be able to stop him. And if we get keep this guy healthy, knock on wood, and playing at this level all season, man, he's going to help lead the way to get this to end that Sabres playoff drought. For more pair members, the only thing that is concerning at the moment is the third pairing. We should have kept a player like Pysyk for competency. Bryson is still not a great option, and even Yoki Haru is an enigma. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Bryson. He's undersized for me. I definitely agree. A guy like Mark Pysyk, I think, still had some value to stick around. I mean, I know they loved him in the locker room last season, but I think judging from where Jacob Bryson's game is right now, and you're trying to look ahead. I mean, I just don't see him as anything more, at least on this team, as a 7th defenseman who's going to be enforced to play a bigger role right now, and I'm not a fan of it. So more from Mauricio. Anderson played well. Team responded well in front of him, 100%. And I know who this is. Skinner, 5 points tonight for Do Monkey 2022. For Demcani, is that your your fantasy name, Dewey? I love it. Dewey Crocs, host of Across the Aisle. They always make an appearance. Always good for a laugh here and there. So thanks, bud, for stopping by. I'm still gonna try and pull these damn highlights up for you all because this is infuriating. Let's see if I can get this to load. Oh, here we go. Finally. We got some of these comments to load. Here we go. Video file. Actually, nope. Cancel that. Present. Share screen. Sorry to narrate my actions here, but that's what we're doing right now. Twitter. Share it up. All right, let's go right back to the beginning. The first goal of the night, provided to you all by, I believe it was Jeff Skinner. Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was Rasmus Dahlin. So, like, this is what I said too before: is you're getting a play like this out of Tage Thompson on a nightly basis. It's just insane. Dahlin trailing. Tuck just knowing he's there, the chemistry that those two especially have together as a forward to a defenseman. Great play there by Skinner. Just doesn't miss. He catches Jake Allen moving from right to left. He can't make the adjustment quick enough, and Dahlin's not missing there from there very often. Next play after that, next goal to make it 2-0, which was literally 2 goals in under a minute there for Buffalo to start the game off. Right here. The JJ Paterka goal right here. You send the puck to the net, man. Quinn sends the puck to the net. Dylan Cousins is there, hammering away at the rebound, and then JJ Paterka right on the doorstep. That's how you're going to have to score goals on this team if you want to keep winning hockey games. Those are the types of goals you're going to need to score. It's not always going to be about skill and finesse and scoring in transition or scoring off the rush. It's goals like this, man. Like, a goal is a goal. It doesn't matter. It's a point up on the board, right? And just it may not be the prettiest thing in the world, but it ended up in the back of the net, gave you an early 2-0 lead. And then Tage Thompson again. Oh, nope, sorry. This is the same goal. I apologize. Let's see here. Yep, this is the third goal right here. Jeff Skinner battles. I'll pull that right back again. Jeff Skinner battling behind the net, comes out with the puck. It's all about, again, those are the things that you're not always going to find on a chart. If Skinner doesn't battle in the corner there with Tuck, that goal never happens. It's all about winning battles. Just look at this. Just using Tuck having the know-how to use those 2 Montreal defenders as a screen. Patient, drags it, shoots it. Jake Allen doesn't even see it. So, again, early 3-0 lead. That was less than 3. They had the first 3 goals in under 3 minutes of the first period. Absolutely insane. And then you go. They made it 3-1. And then Tage Thompson finds Jeff Skinner. Again, making another one of these beautiful toe drag plays. Knowing where Skinner's trailing, just like he knew Dahlin was trailing. Very similar goals. Tage using his size, and they show the replay here. Look at this. Right through the defender. You love to see it. Like Tuck right here. Great drag move. Finds Tage. Tage just knowing that Jeff is trailing, and boom. It's fantastic. They're one of the top lines in the league right now. Charity tournament, if anybody's interested. There you go. the Buffalo Strong Hockey Tournament. We're raffling off 2 jerseys, one Erasmus Dahlin Goathead, and the other a reverse retro. $20 a ticket, or 3 for $50, or the barrel of booze if you're 21 years age of older. $25 a ticket, or 4 for $75. Proceeds go to the families that were devastated by the Thomas Jefferson shooting last May. Trying to raise some money for the families before the holiday season. Relieve some of that financial burden. If anybody is interested in getting on that, please shoot me a DM and let me know at Duane S39. We'll hook you up with some raffle tickets. Again, it's just been highlight reel after highlight reel from that line. Let's see here. Again, another goal, a goal here. Jeff Skinner weaving through traffic, finds Tage. Tage doesn't miss from there, man. It's just, you give him that type of space and time to shoot a puck. He's probably scoring 9 out of 10 times. And the time he doesn't score, it's either hitting the post or going, missing the net. So, I don't really think goalies are really all that often stopping that shot. So, that being said, I'll stop sharing here because, those were the 7 goals scored by Buffalo tonight. I think I missed that Yoki Haru one. But again, just that play in particular, Alex Tuch was curling around the net, realizing that he didn't have a play for a shot on net there because Allen made the move over. He threw it out to the opposite side, spotting, I'm assuming, knowing that Yoki Haru was there or just hoping that there was a Buffalo player there. And Yoki Haru was missed. The guy sellied real hard, was super excited to get that goal, especially how long he was out with an injury. And sometimes, with his struggles to try and get, score a goal like that, it really does. It was what made it 5-2 for them. Let's see here. There we go. Coney, whatever, Dewey. Again, if all goes according to script, we will beat Toronto in January 9-0, and then beat Boston in March to clinch playoff spot, aka Buffalo Sabres WrestleMania. I know, right, bud? Buffalo talking proud, Bills and Sabres. Cousins can't buy a goal, including Quinn concerned. They played great tonight. The goals will come, the plays will come. We'll see what happens. And we have none other than Kid Cully himself joining us. I'm assuming from his phone.
Yeah. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you, bud. We're live.
That's
right
fucking,
now.
that glare is bad. How's that?
You're fantastic, bud.
Hey,
that's great.
First time on, Duane.
Is this your first time? Is it your first or your second time? I think
I may have did one, but it was quick.
Yeah, I believe so. I think you might be right. So
now, folks, I'm gonna put $10 in our fine jar because I told Duane I'd be ready, and then I got a call from a goalie dad, and Duane, let's just say it was fucking heated.
It was heated? Well,
the coaches haven't sent me the schedule, so I haven't worked with them in 2 weeks, and it's not my fault. Yep. I actually showed up to Riverside last week for one of their practices. Riverside's still closed. You know what I mean? Yep. You don't think they would have told me that?
Yeah, you think that would definitely be information that they would share with you? Yes.
Well, let's let our goalie coach know that the time we told him to be there, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I know, right? So,
but hey, getting back to the Sabres, awesome night.
Yeah, but I just went through all the goals, showed the highlights. Tage Thompson, Jeff Skinner, Alex Tuch line, combined for 12 points tonight.
Duane, going back to the postgame show, they had 26 out of 51 shot attempts.
Yep.
Guys, do we all understand how abnormal that is?
Tage Thompson alone had 8 shots on goal tonight.
Well, I want him shooting 8 times
100%,
because
100%.
What are we paying him?
Dude, I think we're paying him around $7 million.
What did we say when he signed that deal? Me and you both said when the cap goes up, that is going to be the biggest steal.
100%. I compared it to Nathan McKinnon's previous contract.
Yeah, great point.
It is, man. And there were a lot
in
of
5 years from now, he's going to be the most underpaid player in the league.
There were a lot of people freaking out about that contract and saying they overpaid him for 1 year. Here's the thing, and I said this earlier, and I'll say it to you, is that the issue with Tage Thompson up until last season, it wasn't the skill, because we always thought that the skill was there. It's just that you had a guy who was 6'7" playing like he was the size of Nathan Gerby.
And first year as a center.
Yep, the center thing was huge too. But as soon as you had that guy realize how big he was and how much more of an animal and how much more oversized he was,
He is a physical specimen.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Those guys are unicorns. You don't find guys with that skill set, with that size, very often. And
Duane, for the first time ever, do you feel like we at least won or tied the O'Reilly trade?
I think they've won that trade up until Buffalo can either have some postseason success or win a cup, because it's hard.
Okay, fair. What, has Ryan O'Reilly declined?
Pardon?
Has Ryan O'Reilly declined since he won this Conn Smythe?
He still had 2 good years after
He's
that.
good.
But then,
Has he declined? Straight question.
This is worse for sure.
Thank you. And who put up 30 last year?
Jeff Skinner put up 30.
No.
Tape Thompson,
part of the trade. And what's he on pace for now? 40?
He's on pace for over 50 right now. I think he has 13 now. Oh, yeah.
So, like you get my point? Do you look at that trade differently now, guys?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to swallow now that you have the main piece of that. Because at first, the main piece of that trade was the first-round pick.
Which ended up being... Who was that?
I can't remember who he drafted with the first-round pick.
Was it Samuelson? Because it was a late pick. Remember, they won the cup?
I know Ryan Johnson was a part of that trade.
Yes, okay. He was the draft pick because we drafted him out of Minnesota. He was a freshman. He went there early. I think he was like 31st.
Yep.
Remember? Because that would have been the last pick in the first round for the Stanley Cup champion, because that was Vegas's second year.
Yep. And
Ryan Johnson, even though he's been still at Minnesota, he might play himself into this lineup in a year or two.
Well,
I haven't given up on him. Have you?
Well, you gotta hope he signs. That's the thing. He's got to sign.
Yeah. He might pull the old. He might pull the old Jimmy VC on us, Duane.
Exactly. He's a guy that might want to go somewhere else, and I hope that Kevin Adams is staying on top of that, because that's a valuable trade piece if push comes to shove, because he's had himself quite a nice college career. A lot of Sabres fans are nervous about that. Guys like him and Eric Portillo, who are in their final year of college free agency, essentially. What are you doing?
Can you see the old 2 goalies 1 mic logo?
Yes, I do.
It's gotten battered. But you know what makes me feel better about Portillo potentially walking?
Devin Levi.
Dude, he had a 45 save shutout against BU.
Buddy, I was texting Devin. You get a good laugh.
Hey, not a big deal.
So I texted Devin in between the first and second period, because they were doing like.
No, you didn't text him in between tonight?
Yeah, tonight. Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant in between his fucking 45 save shutout. He's playing Boston University. Duane shoots him a message. His phone's going off in the locker room.
I shot him a text in between periods tonight because they were doing like a prospect report. On his year so far. He had like 1.89 goals against so far. I think he's like 7-3 or something like that. And they cracked a joke about how he's having a worse year than last year because his goals against was like a 1.5. But it was meant in all fun. It was meant in all fun. But
let me ask you one thing on that. His numbers last year were otherworldly. Him and Yanov Petrus from Quinnipiac.
Yep, and I think the only reason he didn't win the Hobie Baker, because he won the Mike Richter Award. Levi won the Mike
That's Richter what doesn't make sense, Duane. Before you finish that point, what's the Mike Richter Award?
Best goaltender in college hockey.
So how does Dryden McKay up for the Heisman and Levi isn't?
Hobie Baker, not the Heisman.
Oh my God! Find me that. Was that another $10?
Yeah, it's $10 right there, bud.
Hey, Reese Hadley, you're not getting any presents because Dad's fucking up on the interview. Fine Jar's growing and growing. But Duane, I don't quantify it in numbers because, Northeastern lost like a little bit of their firepower, right?
Yeah.
and they're also playing in the best hockey conference. You can argue that the NCHC with Denver and all those guys and Minnesota Duluth is good, but I still think Hockey East is the best conference. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
For him to put up anything below 2 is unbelievable.
100%, I agree.
Hey, Yanov Petrus, did you know he plays in the ECAC?
I wasn't aware of that, no.
Because my brother played at Quinnipiac, right?
Yep.
So the ECAC is, let's just list the teams. Hockey East is Northeastern, BC, BU, UNH, Maine, UMass Lowell, Providence. Like, do I need to keep going?
No, you don't have to keep going.
Now let's go to the ECAC. Quinnipiac, RPI, St. Lawrence. Who am I forgetting here? Clarkson.
Yeah, I was gonna say Clarkson. Yep.
Colgate's in the Ivy League. No, Colgate's in the ECAC.
Cornell is Ivy League.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Colgate's in, and then there was a couple others I'm forgetting. But like the Hockey East is a big jump up from ECAC. Agreed.
Correct.
So I look at Levi's numbers in a vacuum. He's playing against, because there's a lot of guys at BU and BC that are going to be one and dones this year.
Yep.
Who's that real good player on BU?
What's his name?
Kiefer Bellows? No. He's in the league, but he's a high pick.
Yeah, 100% Kiefer Bellows is a very high pick.
No, but the guy I'm talking about at BU that got drafted either this year or this coming year, he's going to be a stud. Like, he's going to play.
Yeah.
My point is this.
I'm not going to lie to you.
When you look at Levi's numbers, Duane,
yeah,
for people that are, what did you say? What is it? 148?
His goals against is a 1.89 right now.
That's incredible.
I know. So to get back to my story before we
sorry, go ahead.
So I was texting him between the first and second. I shot him a picture of the graphic they had up there for him, and I said, "Get your shit together, bud." They took it down from last year, and it was they cracked a joke. I was cracking a joke, and he goes, but I said, ... You're having an unreal. I said, you're having an unreal year, man. Keep it up. He goes, thanks, bud. He goes, thanks, man. I appreciate it. But just so you know, I don't look at my stats, so I will not be opening that picture. I thought that was funny. He doesn't pay attention to his
But dude, you not love that answer?
Love that answer. Because my response was
my biggest problem, I cared too much about my stats.
Yeah. That was actually my response. I said, bud, it's like you're a horse of a different color because I still check my men's league stats. I think you froze. Did you freeze? Yeah, Cully froze. Until we get him back up and running here. Shooting the shit. In between Piers and Devin Levi had a great answer for us. Sean is telling an inside joke. I said, "Get your shit together, bud. You're down from last year." And then I said, ... Just kidding. Unreal year, man. Keep it up.
My bad.
And he goes, thanks. I appreciate it. But I don't look at my own stats, just so you know, so I will not be opening that. And I said, that's hilarious. You're a horse of a different color because I still check my men's league stats. And Cully will tell you too.
Guys, whenever there was a shot counter on the scoreboard, it fucked with me. I might not be the only goalie.
Especially if you're having a rough night, you're counting shots, hoping to get that number back up.
Here's an example, Duane. Let's just say we let in the first period, we let in a 2-on-1, a breakaway, and a backdoor rebound, right? Yeah. So 3 goals, but we only get 7 total shots.
Yeah.
That's a 600 save percentage and a 9 goals against, right? Now, if we finish the game and we don't let in any other goals, and we end up getting 33 shots, then it's a 900 save percentage and a 3.00. But like things can go the other way. So I would look at, just like you were talking about, if I knew I didn't have a lot of shots and letting goals, I would let that affect me. For
Oh, yeah.
Dina Levi to notice that. How mature of an answer is that, Duane?
It's a great answer because it just shows that how focused and in the zone he is, right? Like you're just like you're worried about the only stat you're worried about is W's and L's. That's all you care about as a goalie. And
giving your team a chance to win.
Exactly.
Hey, do you want to read this from Paramount Pictures? Can I?
Good line. They produce, however, this is where we got into trouble back in 2018, 2019. We had one line and nothing else. We need secondary scoring. 100%.
Can I answer that, Duane? What about Yoki Haru's goal?
That was beautiful. Tuck realizing.
What about Darlene's goal? From Paterno.
Tage Thompson weaving through traffic, finds Darlene trailing.
I guess maybe that's not the right answer. The first goal we scored, Darlene's goal.
What about it?
Who was on the ice with him?
Tage's line. Tage, Tuck, and Skinner.
Oh, that's why they were all +5.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, Matthias Samuelsson tonight, first game back, and I've been making this point forever. 19 minutes and 35 seconds. Fucking guy was a +6, dude.
Yep.
Like, here was my biggest point. The last time we had a show, we had Samuelsson was injured, Lyubushkin was injured, and who was the third defenseman that was injured?
He was injured.
So, like, my biggest thing during that losing streak was when we were playing well, we had that back end rolling with Darlene and Power, like, dominating their pairs, right?
Yep.
But once those injuries happened, Duane, that's when the losing streak started.
Yep.
And you know as well as I do, when you have defensemen, like you have three good pairs and things are rolling, like it becomes so much easier for us goalies, right?
Yep.
But when you take even one guy out, like a Samuelsson, that affects Power, that affects Darlene, that affects everybody.
Domino effect, bud. Here's, and before you came out, I said this. The thing that scares me is one injury, and it's true that was one injury, because you could have survived without Lyubushkin and you could have survived without Yoki Haru, but the Samuelsson injury affected you so dramatically that it essentially changed the entire character of your team. Like, Lyubushkin's been invisible, man.
Hey, before that injury, remember that before when he made that big hit?
Yeah.
He was playing perfect for a 5'6" defenseman, right? So, better than what our 5'6" has been. Well, to your point, you said the Samuelsson injury was the biggest one, right?
Yeah, and it's just scary that.
But
that
what happened with Samuelsson going down? If Yoki Haru is healthy, I don't think we lose all those games. I think we probably lose most of them, but maybe we win 2 out of the 5, right? But when you have Samuelsson down and Yoki Haru, now outside of Darlene and Power, do you remember our D pairs? Lawrence Pilot was playing 20 minutes a game.
Yep, and
what's the other guy's name?
Before the Samuelsson injury, I'm pretty sure he was playing with Lyubushkin on the second pairing, and that Power was Samuelsson was with Darlene, and Power and Lyubushkin were on the second pairing. It was working.
That's when Lyubushkin looked really good. But ever since he got hurt, I get your point. Who did we call up?
Jacob Bryson as a second, as a seventh. Actually, no, Bryson.
You get my point. When Bryson was in the lineup, when Yoki Haru and Samuelsson were out, and Pilot was in, didn't it look like a completely different team?
Yep. They weren't playing physical. Windshield wiper sticks in front of the net, puck watching.
Not tying guys up, being soft in front. I think that's the biggest thing, no?
The big thing was puck watching.
Well, and just soft plays through the middle, right? Bad gaps, not winning battles in the corner. And here's my one point. I'll kick it to you. Duane, you know how in the defensive zone, the goalie, the 2 defensemen in the center are responsible for everything below the dots?
Correct.
When you change the chemistry in your pairs,
okay,
and with the centers, how much does that affect your ability to not fuck up in the D zone?
Oh, it changes it dramatically. It when you don't have that chemistry and don't have that consistency, like everything that you've built up to that point is just out the fucking window.
So for all those that overreacted to the losing streak, I wanted to reserve comment until we got Samuelson back, till we got maybe a Labushkin back. But for me, it was more Samuelson and Yoki Hardy, because when you have those two guys in, along with Darlene and Power, you have legit 6 NHL defensemen.
Correct.
And every game that they've been in, like tonight was a good example. Duane, does tonight remind you of when they started off hot?
Oh, for sure.
Now, what are the two similarities?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what are the two similarities between when we started hot and tonight's game? You just said it. We had a healthy back end.
Oh yeah. The back end was clicking, and I think, you know, as nice as Power and Darlene were able to play together tonight, I think there's just a dynamic about
It's just too much.
Having that stay at home physical guy on the back end, and you have a guy like it gave Darlene so much ability to be the defenseman that we drafted at first overall, the puck carrying, weaving through traffic defenseman. It went a long way to have those two together. It was just a fun pairing to watch because they complemented each other so well. And when you didn't have that, you were forced into a situation where the losing streak was getting bigger and bigger, and you had to force yourself to have put Power with Darlene to try and, you know, salvage some type of consistency on your front line. It really affected your ability throughout the lineup. You know, it sucked.
And it's that trickle-down effect, Duane, that I'm sorry to interrupt you before. That was the point I was trying to make. And you know as well as I do as a goalie, when you take two pieces out, and they're not even, it doesn't have to be your Power or your Darlene, but when you take their partners out, now they're playing with different guys, and they're not at their best. And Granato and Ellis asked way too much of them, which when you're playing, Darlene and Power play about 22 to 23 minutes a night, right?
Yep.
When those guys were hurt, they were playing 25, 26. Like, I know that doesn't seem like a lot to the listeners, but you know as well as I do, those extra 4 minutes and in their minds and Power and Darlene's minds, knowing that they have to do more because they don't have their normal partners, like that's a lot, and that'll take their game down.
I lost you there for a second, bud.
My point was, when those guys went out, Yoki Haru and Samuelson, when you ask Darlene and Power now to carry more of the weight, that's going to affect their game negatively. Agreed?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to definitely it's going to kill their game.
So I guess that was my point. I didn't want to overreact. Obviously, losing 7 sucks, but I wanted to see how we looked when we got back healthy, and I thought we played great tonight. Now, Duane, you saw the game. I missed the first period. I'm watching it right now. It's 2-0, 8 with a minute in. When did Jost fight?
Jost fought, I believe it was between the.
Oh, right now. It's going right now. Do you guys want to see it?
I showed the highlights earlier. Oh yeah, there it is. There's the fight. It wasn't an exciting fight, but still, it's a good way for a kid like him.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Your first shift as a Buffalo Sabre, dude. He won that fight too. Get loose, get loose, get loose, get loose. Throw lefts.
Yep.
That's a good fight, man. That's a great fight. That's a great fight. I missed that. I'm sorry. I wanted to show that. Duane, you're going into a locker room. You just got traded. You missed out. You were a first-round pick of the Colorado Avalanche, right? Yep. You got traded right before they won the Stanley Cup. You saw his comments about how he didn't watch the Stanley Cup last year because he felt like he was missing out, right?
Yeah, I mean that would absolutely grind my gears if I was in his situation.
The other thing, when he got interviewed after the trade, he mentioned in Minnesota, it felt like he was walking on eggshells along with the whole team. Do you know what he meant by that? Because I do.
I'm sorry, I lost you again.
when he got interviewed, when he got traded here, he said when he went from Colorado to Minnesota, it felt like everybody in Minnesota was walking on eggshells. All the players.
Oh yeah.
What does that mean? Explain to our audience.
That means for me, as a player, when you're always walking on eggshells, you're just afraid to make mistakes. You're not playing.
Ripping the stick too tight.
Exactly. Kind of like before, Jack Quinn finally got himself on the board. He was definitely gripping.
Same thing.
Peyton Krebs has been gripping his stick quite a bit. He didn't play tonight. He was the odd man out to get Jost in the lineup.
But I like that because what does Jost do in his first appearance?
It creates internal competition. It gives you the I think
I just saw Tuck's goal. Sorry, I just saw Tuck's third goal.
It tells you a lot about a player. It does. How when a player faced with adversity because of that internal competition, does he thrive under the pressure? Does he thrive when faced with adversity, or does he cave? It tells you a lot about hockey. I think Peyton Krebs is definitely the type of guy that will, especially with how much the culture has shifted with this team. He's definitely a kid that will thrive and get himself back in this lineup. It's just, who's the next guy that's going to come out and when will that opportunity come? Because,
but that healthy competition is awesome. Hey, really quick, the 3-0 goal, which I think is a huge goal, because what's the most dangerous lead in hockey?
3-goal lead or 2-goal lead?
No,
sorry.
2-goal
lead. Yes.
So Tuck's goal happened at 17:40. The shift after Jost's fight. Do you think that's an accident?
No.
Jost comes in, first shift as a Sabre, does well in his fight. 30 seconds later, Tuck gets the puck at the top, shoots through a double screen, or up 3-0. I don't know. For me,
before you came on, not to that exact extent, but those types of things. It's the game inside the game within the game that a chart or a graph can't read, and that stuff does go a long way. The nerds can make fun of it all they want, but that is a situation that does help the overall how the rest of that game might transpire. To have a guy like that who's willing to go in there, be passionate enough to go in there and drop the gloves and on a new team with a bunch of guys that he hasn't played with before. That's.
But how much respect does that earn you in the locker room, Duane?
A lot. And like you said, like we talked about, he being traded away from Colorado right before they win a cup, things not working out in Minnesota. Like I said, walking on eggshells. You want to come in night one and make an impact. And if you're not going to do it in the score sheet, I mean, that's one hell of a great great way to do it is do it by having himself a little bit of a tilly.
So right after we scored at the 17-minute mark, so we're 3 minutes into the game, it's 3-1. Montreal just scored. Caulfield scored on that 1T. I don't love that goal from Craig Anderson, but let's just go back a second. If Jost doesn't get into that fight and we don't score that Tuck goal to make it 3-0, now it's 2-1. You know what I mean? Now it's a completely different game. And it goes back, Duane. It's 3-1. The next goal happens a little bit later in the game, but instead of making it 3-2, like when you're in a 3-1 game, that's the like we talked about. The most dangerous lead is 2 goals. The Sabres are up 3-1.
Correct.
Instead of letting them get back in the game, we scored the next goal to make it 4-1. Do you remember?
Yeah, and that's again, I remember watching and they scored that third goal. It's like, oh God, please no, because you can totally see. Especially with how the previous 8 games went, you can totally see this team kind of, caving a little bit and start getting on their heels, trying to just protect that 2-goal lead. But instead, man, they took the play to them. I think the biggest difference between tonight, outside of having a healthy Samuelson back, is how aggressive they were taking the play to Montreal.
What about the penalty kill?
Yeah, they didn't allow. Even on the penalty kill, they didn't allow
6 for 6
Montreal puck carrier a lot of time and space.
So Duane, right after they just made it 3-1, that's when Dahlin flipped it out of play. Montreal's on the power play right now, a minute after they scored.
Yep.
And, a good shift from Paterka there for checking. But you're right. We're aggressive. We went 6 for 6 on the PK, but it's the little things, not letting them get into the zone. Did you notice in the 7-game losing streak with our penalty kill, how we let teams just walk right in? So far, a minute into Montreal's power play, Duane, we have 2 shots on goal shorthanded. They have 1 shot.
Yep. It's, there was that one penalty kill where Tage, I think it was later on in the game.
Big save from Andy right there.
Had like 3 scoring chances alone by himself on their power play.
Can we talk about his release right now?
What's up?
Can we talk about his release?
Oh, Tage? It's insane. The other night,
it might be the best in the league right now.
At 97 or 98 miles an hour. And he's shooting harder than that, too.
Is he the hottest goal scorer in the league right now?
100%. I said it earlier. I said Connor McDavid
nice save, Anderson. Nice save.
Connor McDavid is the best player in the world. But if you're going to ask me who the best player in the league has been over the last 2 to 3 weeks, it's Tage Thompson.
And look what he did for a guy like Jeff Skinner tonight. Jeff Skinner had 2 goals and 3 assists. That line contributed for 12 points. Another big save from Anderson there, but a good clear from Power.
If you're getting 60 points this season out of Jeff Skinner and another 25 plus goal season, like that makes that contract so much more stomachable, does it not?
100%. And Duane, we're going to hear about that number, but when the cap goes up, I think Jeff is finally starting to find his groove. Because guess what? Is he back on the top line?
Yep. And
did his line have 21 out of the 56 or 26 out of the 51 shot attempts tonight?
Yep. And
Tage Thompson had 8 shot attempts. Jeff Skinner had 5 points. When you win, your best players have to be your best players. Were our best players that were better than their best players?
Agreed. 100%.
Now, going back to this, Anderson made 2 good saves on that penalty kill. We're 13 minutes into the first period. If they score Montreal on that first power play, that's a 3-2 game, right? That changes the whole dynamic. It goes back to your point, and I missed part of the second. What stood out to you about not only just the penalty kill, but the team defense? When you mentioned how we were hungrier on pucks, we played well in the neutral zone, so we limited the odd man rushes. What did we do well in your eyes? You have to see the whole game. I'm rewatching the first period now. I liked what I saw. Anderson made the first save, but in our 7-game losing streak, how many times did our goalie make a save and then they scored on the rebound?
Oh, it happened at least once a game.
So on that first penalty kill, did you notice how Anderson made the first save and then we cleared the puck out?
Yep, because people aren't puck watching.
Outside of that and the puck watching, what did our defense do well, especially in the 30 minutes that I missed that I'm watching right now?
Definitely the way they played their angles.
What about this Paterka line?
Pardon?
You're right. I've liked our neutral zone angling because you know as well as I do, if it's a 2-on-2 or like a 3-on-3 with a back checker, if that back checker can help angle that guy with the puck, that makes our defenseman's job so much easier, right?
100%.
In our losing streak, did it feel like we were kind of messy and slow in the neutral zone with that?
Yeah, we were losing all battles in the neutral zone. There wasn't even battles in the neutral zone. They were entering our side of the ice like at will.
Couple clicks for Greg McComb here. His comment is shout out to the fans that never stop believing. Duane, one of Rick Jenneret's best calls. I think it was in the playoffs. Do you believe? Yep. Do you remember what I'm talking about? How did it go?
Do you believe? Now do you believe this team is good? Scary good.
Scary good.
We're not there yet, but
no, Greg, couple clicks for Greg there. That's a great comment.
Oh, for sure.
There was a lot of guys that were shitting on this team. And Duane, like you mentioned, I think it had a lot to do with the injuries on the back end. Yep. Because when we have those 6 guys healthy, that's when we were winning, right?
Agreed.
Tonight, did we have those 6 guys healthy?
We did.
Oh my God, Tage Thompson is Jesus Christ right now.
He's so good.
Dude, talk about his goal at the end. That one-timer.
Mm-hmm.
Allen broke his stick after Skinner's goal. So it would have been
Skinner was mouthing off to him too.
Did you see that? You saw the camera?
Oh,
Skinner looked back and was giving it to Allen.
Yep.
What do you think he said? Because it looked to me like he said, "Feel it, you fucking losers." What do you think he said? Take a guess.
Something along the lines of that. Look at the scoreboard. Something along that.
What would you have said? Oh yeah, hey, fucking dash 5 for you tonight, buddy.
Right.
Did you know that line was all like +4, +5?
Yep.
Now, the question we had about the secondary scoring, listen, when you look at the teams that have won, like Chicago when they won, okay?
Yep.
LA when they won.
Yep.
Their cups. Boston when they won. What's the one common thing they all had? Their top lines. So with Chicago, it was Hossa, Kane, and Saad, or like Toes, Saad. You know what I mean? And LA, it was Kopitar, Richards, Carter, right? Last year for Colorado, who was it? It was Landeskog, McKinnon, and what was it? Rantanen?
Yeah, Mikko Rantanen. Yep.
So, like, do you see my point? When your top line, going back to that other comment, when your top line has 26 shot attempts and they combine for 12 points, are you going to lose in this league?
No, you're not going to lose very often. Nope.
Unless your goalie gives up 8 goals.
Yeah,
so looking forward, Duane.
You literally have to have ECHL level goaltending in the NHL to be able to lose.
So you're saying Cully and the pipes.
Yeah,
wait, we got another one from Greg. Samuelson helped get everyone back in their rightful spots, but I want to talk about Tyson Jost. If it hasn't been talked about yet, that dude brought the grit and set the tone for the game. Duane, you talked about it earlier. You want to retouch that for Greg?
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier. Tyson, in a situation where I even brought it up before you came on, in a situation where maybe he wasn't going to be able to contribute much on the score sheet, he found there was the opportunity arose where he could, prove something to his new teammates and prove something to the coach and prove something to the fans watching at home that, he wants to be an impactful player and a consistent contributor to this lineup. He dropped the gloves and held his own, and it was a decent fight and got the team fired up. It was 2-0.
Did he win the fight?
What's up?
Did he win the fight?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Now, when you come into a new locker room, especially a locker room where you got guys like Quinn and Krebs in the press box, I think that healthy competition is huge, right?
Yeah, I agreed.
With Yost coming in, people forget he was a 4th overall pick. Or seventh overall.
Yeah, I say it wasn't 4th.
But he was a high top 10 pick.
Correct.
Now, I can understand why he didn't fit in Colorado, right? They have a wealth of forwards, yes or no?
I'm sorry, what?
Colorado, do they have a ton of good forwards?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So is it Tyson Yost expendable?
Oh, for sure.
So he talked about his time in Minnesota being on eggshells, him coming out and fighting. Like, I know there's people that hate fighting, but like, I've gotten traded 3 times, Duane. And although I couldn't fight as a goalie, I remember having guys get traded in. And even if they weren't fighters, if they fought for us that first, not only did he do it the first shift, but if they fought for us that first weekend, instant respect. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you go out there and you throw hands for the boys. Yeah, you get.
But what does that do to the boys? What does that say to the rest of the locker room, Duane?
That you can trust me to go walk down an alley with you. You know what I mean? Like, I got your back.
And he's a guy you want to go to war with, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, what have we been missing a little bit the past 8 years?
That exact thing.
And
We
you
haven't
don't
really
need a
had that guy
heavyweight. You
probably
don't
since the days of Peters.
listen. Outside of Ryan Reeves and Delorier, there's not many heavyweights, right?
Like Keegan Holisar.
Yeah, he's a heavy too. But that's 3 guys in the league, right?
Yep.
It doesn't. You don't need a heavyweight. But if you have guys willing to stick up for each other, how much does that affect the locker room?
Oh, it affects it immensely. It definitely helps there be a shift in culture in the positive direction. But the thing is, you don't even have to, Cully. You don't even have to go out there and fight. Just play with some edge.
Right. I just think it's great that he did it his first shift in the Sabres uniform.
Like,
I love that.
I'm not discounting fighting. There's a place for.
I don't want Jost to fight 10 times. Yeah. I just love that he did it to set the tone, to say to Thompson, to say to Duane, to say to this team, Johnny Granato, hey guys, I'm going to fucking go to war for you. I'll fight. I'll hit. I'll block shots. I'll kill penalties. Now, is that enough to keep him in the lineup right now?
I mean, they got their first win in 9 games.
For me, Bob Bugner, my best coach, him and DJ Smith, if we were on a losing skid and then we won a game, we almost always kept that same lineup for the next game.
And they should.
You agree?
100%. They should. You go with what works. Tomorrow night, I wonder, with it being 90s night, do they give Andy the start?
I liked his game tonight. You saw the whole thing. There was a close call there with about 8 minutes left. You remember that tip in front that hit his skate?
Yeah.
You break down Andy's game for me, right? You saw the whole thing. I didn't see him get much work in the third.
I think for the most part, I wouldn't say he had an easy night, but he saw a lot of the pucks. Didn't have to deal with much in the screen. There was some action in front of him where he had to make a couple big saves, but for the most part, routine saves, and which he made except for that one goal. I think that one beat him.
I didn't like that one. I saw the highlight.
But you know what? Yeah, you still played more than good enough for the boys to win. And,
Duane, this is the Montreal's second power play. 6 minutes left in the first, right?
Yep.
He just made 2 big saves, and our penalty kill's been aggressive. Good play there on the wall from who's 18? Is that Labushkin? 16?
No, not 48. 46 is Labushkin.
No, who's a single digit? Who's in the tens? What defenseman is that?
That's Yoki Haru.
So Yoki Haru made a good play there.
Yoki Haru's number 10, yeah.
Okay, now we're on the penalty kill. Dahlin and Power. Power wins his battle, turns, and fires it down the ice. Like, we go back to when they were bad. Was our penalty kill bad during that losing streak?
Oh, it's terrible.
Did we go 6 for 6 tonight?
Yes, we did.
Did we do well on our power play?
Yeah, I think we scored twice in the power play.
So in Windsor, we had a couple quotes. We said, win every shift, be on the D side of the puck. Okay. Best players got to be our best players.
Yep. Which they were. But
most importantly, win the special teams. Correct. If you go back to the Sabres losing streak, we lost the special teams every game.
Agreed.
So I know we don't have a ton of time left, but any unsung heroes that, I think Alex Tuck, that pass to Yoki Haru. Did you see how excited Yoki Haru was?
Oh, because it's a big monkey off his back, man. He knows he's been struggling, and then to get back from the injury, he was struggling before the injury. And
Great answer.
To get back from injury and get that goal, it was an important goal too because it put him back up by 3, I believe. And it was a 4-2 game. It was
a huge goal. That made it. And so it was 4-2, right?
Yeah, and they made it 5-2. Yeah,
the same idea we were just talking about. If Montreal scores right here to make it 3-2, if they score that next goal, it's 4-3, and that's happened in the losing streak. We lost games like that, right?
Yep.
Tuck goes behind the net. Yoki Haru drops down back door. A great play from Tuck to get it over to him, but just to see Yoki Haru's celebration, to get that monkey throwing it off his back. Can you see that? Yoki Haru threw that bitch off his back.
I'm
and
very excited.
and he's back in the lineup. How important is that for his confidence? And just what a good play from Tuck.
Yep, it's extremely important, especially for a guy like him, who again
Then out.
to get him going. Doesn't matter where he's playing in the bottom two pairs, whether it's
Don't care.
huh?
It doesn't matter as he gets, because he's coming back from injury, right? He might not be able to play 20 minutes yet, but we got a solid 18 minutes out of him tonight. Yes?
100%. Yep.
Now, Samuelson, how many games is this? Is this his first game back or second?
It's his first game back.
He played 23 minutes, bro.
Yep. And
so when people chirp his contract, Duane, this is the shit I point to. This guy in his first game back was a plus fucking 5 in 23 minutes.
Correct.
4 block shots. I bet you if you look at his Corsi, it's fucking in the high 50s.
Yep. I 100% agree.
Corsi 4.
He was a +6 tonight.
That's incredible.
His first game back.
You know how hard it is as a goalie coming back for your first game?
Also nice when you're playing on a pairing with Duane.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
I think that makes Duane better.
It makes them both better.
But and then the trickle down effect. Who does Power get to play with? Sammy.
No, Power plays with either Labushkin or Yoki Haru. I'm not sure who he played. I can't remember who he played.
Okay, fair enough. So it's Duane and Sammy, right?
Yep.
That trickle down effect from Sam. Oh, they're showing the fight again. Real quick. Yost got in 3 rights. He's from St. Albert, Alberta. I got a couple friends there. He's 5'11", 187. He's got 47 goals, 65 points for 112 points.
Yep.
And he was claimed off waivers. He was originally Colorado's first-round pick in 2016. He's wearing number 17 for us. He was a highly touted player coming out of the British Columbia League, which, if we can't forget, where did Cal McCarr get drafted out of? The British Columbia Hockey League.
Was it?
Well, because he went from the BC to UMass.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Tyson Jost played in that same league. To me, the BCHL, the British Columbia Hockey League, is the second best junior A, like non-OHL league behind the USHL.
Correct.
Now, for Yost to come in, I think that's great. To finish up, though, on that point, with Samuelson and Duane, right? How much did them...
Samuelson with Duane, Power played with Yoki Haru, and Bryson.
How much does Samuelson and Duane playing together make Power and Yoki Haru better?
Well, yeah, you're asking in terms of lineup matching too. You don't have you're not forcing your 2 best defensemen to play together. You're dropping. Did
that bother you during the losing streak? How much we overused Power and Duane?
Oh yeah, it was nuts. They were playing like 25.
I thought they were going to get hurt.
That's a night.
Did you not worry about injury when we were using them that much?
Oh, yeah, I mean that's always going to come with when you're playing them in almost every single position you could possibly play them in, and they're playing almost every other shift.
Now I'll wind down with my questions, but if we truly want to climb our way back, injuries are going to happen, right, to our defense core. I don't like Bryson. I shouldn't say that. I don't think Bryson, Pilot. Who's the last one? The call up.
There was Cal Clegg, Casey Fitzgerald, and
Fitzgerald, Clade, Pilot, and the last one I just mentioned, Bryson. Like they are all serviceable 5'6", but when you have those guys playing,
no, I don't even think Fitzgerald and Pilot are a 5'6".
No, you're right. But those guys are 7'8". But when you have those guys playing like on your third pair, that's fucked. You're fucked.
Yeah.
So is that something we need to address and bring in? You know how we claim Jost off waivers? If another defenseman becomes available, or even a trade where we give up like a 3rd or a 4th round pick to get somebody that is better than those 4 guys, that's better than Fitzgerald, that's better than Pilot, or just as good, if not better than Pilot or Bryson. should we upgrade so we have that extra guy in case one of the top four goes down?
We talk. I've been saying it the past couple post games. The two things that needed to be addressed, in my opinion, that weren't really addressed, and I still think you need to address it on the forward side of things, is I think you need a true number 2 center. You don't have one right now. I think Dylan Cousins is being asked to do a lot more than what he's ready for.
Time out. Who's he been playing with?
Cousins has been playing with Paterka and Quinn.
Now, if you were the coach, who would you put on that second line?
Well, you have to put Cousins on there right now.
Right. Who would you put with Cousins?
What?
I disagree with you. I think Cousins can be. We saw in the world. Hey, do you remember the world champion? Hold on. Do you remember the world championships last year?
Finish what I'm saying before you cut in and just start disagreeing with me.
Fine.
Listen, I do think that Cousins will be that guy. I've been comparing Cousins since his rookie season. He reminds me a lot of Michael Pekka. I just don't think he's ready for that to be that guy yet. I don't
think his line mates are helping him.
I personally have been absolutely through the roof when it comes to JJ Paterka, and Jack
agreed
has been in and out of the lineup too often.
Who's the other guy?
I mean, it's been a mixture maybe between Hinostroza or Olofsson. There's been a lot of line mix. Listen, I love Dylan Cousins. I think that maybe Kevin Adams was a little snake bitten with maybe how the Eric Stahl thing went and how he never really wanted to be here to begin with. But I still think that you should have went out and tried to find a good, not so much of a veteran guy, but a guy talented enough to be your second line center, especially when you have all that cap space to work with and maybe be a guy for 2 years.
Can I ask you something now?
What's up?
If you have Dylan Cousins as your second line center and you like Paterka, right, on the left side?
Yeah.
I think who's been on that line with them? Hinostroza?
Tonight it was Paterka and Quinn, like I said.
Did you like Quinn's game tonight? I didn't.
I did. Oh yeah, for sure I did.
So okay, I guess my question to you then is,
I think that's a really nice line for them, but
that's a good third line, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying in the beginning. Is I think that less is more for all three of them right now.
No, you're right. You're right. So how do we solve that?
I think that you're asking them to do a lot. I think, for a guy like Cousins, I'd like to see him more in a second power play role, some penalty kill time, and then
your third line guy.
5 time. I just think that this team would have benefited a lot from an Eric Stahl move, but a guy that wants to play here. Not a guy.
So off the top of your head, anybody pop out to you? I'm not talking about their availability, but give me an example. Like a Malkin or like
Malkin would have cost you a lot, but you had.
I know. I'm dreaming there, but realistically,
like a JT Miller type player.
That's a good one.
Center. He's your first line center in Vancouver now, but is Bo Horvat a center or is Brock Besser?
So Bo Horvat plays both. They mix Horvat, JT Miller, and Pettersson around, right? One of those three are going to be a cap casualty.
I don't think it's going to take on JT Miller's contract, but I definitely think it's going to be Brock Besser or it's going to be Bo Horvat.
So I would love to get JT Miller because playing against him and Tom Wilson were the two toughest guys playing against because they were so good in front of the net.
Yeah.
So, Duane, I guess my question to you is, if we do go out and bring in a good second-line center, which demotes Cousins down to the third-line center, where does that put Middlestat and Quinn and Krebs and all them?
Well, I think you still keep if things are still clicking with between Cousins, Paterka, and Quinn. That's your third line right there. And
so, tell me, what's our second line? In your perfect world, after the trade deadline,
if the players on this team are as stay put, I think with that you probably have. I mean, I like Hinostroza. I do. I think he's an energy guy. I think he brings a lot.
But he's a fourth line guy, yes or no?
Is he a fourth line guy? On other teams, yes. On our team, no.
Where does he fit?
Normally, See, man, that's a tough thing when you slide that
You
line
see,
down.
see what I'm getting at? I think if we bring in somebody, we also have to ship somebody out.
Yeah, well, you have Olofsson, who always seems to be like the guy talked about around the trade deadline.
I don't like his game.
He's just all, buddy. You're moving around. You're giving
No,
me.
I know. I had to pee. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I've been working all day. I think that Olofsson, ever since Eichel left, he struggled to find his role. Because hey, you remember Skinner's goal off the power play and Thompson's goal?
Correct.
Who was scoring the goal on that side in the power play in years past?
On Thompson's side?
No, yeah, well, Olofsson's side. Think about it. That was his side forever. Remember?
Oh, who was scoring that back with was Reinhardt?
No. It was Olofsson, that one-timer spot on the goalie's glove side.
The other side was always Jack.
Right.
That
and
was
Dahlin, Jack, and Olofsson at the top. Do you remember?
Yeah, but you're saying who was it when it wasn't Olofsson is what you're asking.
Yeah, tonight, who scored over there? Skinner scored the last one. Thompson scored the fifth one right from that spot, right?
Yeah, you're getting those goals from guys from, Thompson is playing in Jack's spot. That's where Tage is shooting from on the power play unit. On that first line unit, it's going to be Tuck.
So that takes what Olofsson scored more than half of his goals on the power play, right?
Yeah, he's a power.
So I think he's the guy that's expendable.
Yes.
Is he the guy that we trade for our second line center?
He could be. I think
off the top of your head, who would be perfect outside of the Vancouver thing? Anything else come to your mind?
You got to find teams that are up against it with the cap. I mean, you think about that. You think about teams like, it's always Tampa's in that conversation. Florida is right up against it with the cap. Toronto is always up against it, but they're not going to make an in-division.
They're not going to make a deal with us. What about a team that's underperforming? Like, who's at the bottom of the Pacific?
San Jose is playing really well right now.
So, like, who's like Anaheim? Does Anaheim have any centers that you like?
I'm sure they do.
Are you on your computer? I can't look it up because I'm on my phone and it takes me out. That's why I left the show earlier. I thought I could like minimize the screen and still be on, but
yeah. I mean, at center in Anaheim, you have like Carrick, Derek Grant.
Wait, what about the Kings? What about the Kings?
The Kings?
Because they have Byfield. They have a bunch of young guys. I would love to see Iafallo come home.
He just signed an extension, though, with them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're going to have cap space, Duane. And what is Olofsson making right now? 5?
Olofsson's making either 4 or 5, maybe 4.5.
Yeah, dude, Iafallo's deal isn't as big as you think it is. I think he's only making like 4.8. I think that's an underpaid player.
At center, they got Anderson Dolan, another Anderson, Philip Deneau.
Dude, hey, Philip Deneau. Hey, you remember Montreal's cup run?
Deneau?
You remember Deneau on Montreal's cup run 2 years ago?
He was huge for them.
Do you think we could snag him?
I mean, if, the stars have to align there and they have to be willing to do business.
But when you look at LA's, like, they have so many young centers that haven't been able to crack.
The thing is, I like Philip Deneau. He's having a decent season with LA, 15 points in 21 games. He's a +6. I think that's the type of guy, though, that you would want as your second line center.
I agree. And I think that's what I was trying to get out of you. I put you in a bad spot without giving you ahead of time. But I agree with you now that I've gotten that answer out of you. I just think who's going to be the guy on the way out? I think right now for me it's Olofsson.
It could be Casey Middlestat.
Who do you think, if you're a general manager, if you're out in LA, who's more valuable, Middlestat, who's been shit on and been inconsistent, or a guy like Olofsson?
Olofsson, he's going to score goals, but their cap numbers match up better, right? Yeah, and I think here's the thing: Casey isn't getting paid a lot. I think this past 5 games have probably been some of Casey's best, even though they've been losing. But
Yeah, but where is he playing right now? He's on the fourth line, is he not?
He's playing on the third line.
With who?
The things that drive me nuts about Casey Middlestat is how soft he is on the puck. He gets
Well, how about you? You mentioned today, what did we do really good in a neutral zone? Our forwards angled so our D had help, right?
Yep.
Does it not bother you how lazy Middlestat gets in the neutral zone defensively?
Yeah. He plays timid, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. Duane, you said it best. He plays soft.
Yeah, he's a soft player.
I just don't think we'll get the return back that for Middlestat that we would get for Olofsson. I think if there's one player that with this new group, you bring in Yost, you bring in Quinn, you bring in Krebs, all these guys. And remember, Matt Savoy coming in next year, right? Because I
think Yuri Kulik is going to try and make this roster next season.
Who?
Yuri Kulik.
Oh, I love his game.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Have you seen some of his highlights? Where's he playing? Sweden?
NHL release, man. I got to see him at development camp. The kid's unreal.
Oh my God. Remember you called me after development and you said, Cully, this guy was the Sabres' best draft pick?
Because I know we didn't get much of Savoy. I think he was hurt, but
no, but dude, we got him in the second round. No, the last pick of the first. It was the pick we got from Florida. Remember?
Repeat that.
He was our third pick in the draft.
We started off with Savoy, Noah Ostlund, and then Yuri Kulik.
So looking back on it, people saw the way he played in camp and the way he started his season. And I read an article redoing the draft a month and a half, 2 months out, or like a month into the season. A bunch of people had Kulik in the top 15.
Yeah, 100%. And that's part of the reason with COVID. Like COVID kind of changed a lot of stuff, man. It made it more difficult to scout. You couldn't see as many guys as in person as you wanted to. And some guys fell on draft boards. So look at a guy like Tyson Kozak, who fell to the later rounds. He's been performing.
Great example.
Yeah. So, just to wrap things up here, bud, because we're pushing 2 hours.
Yeah. No. Hey, thank you for letting me join. I'm sorry I was long-winded.
You're good,
great talk, though, Duane. Thanks for having me on.
But yeah, it's great to see them finally get that, get a win underneath their belt after 8 straight losses. Going into 90s night tomorrow, I hope we see Andy again because I highly doubt UPL had a pad set up ready for 90s night. What are you doing?
Couple clicks for the boys.
Oh yeah, couple clicks. Well, you look like you're making the money. The Conor McGregor.
I know my phone; it's all fucked up. Couple clicks for Andy is what I was saying.
Andy, I hope we get him again tomorrow night, strictly because it's 90s night. I think everybody wants to see in unison everybody.
If we start UPL and he doesn't have a black and red set up, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, well, no, Andy does.
No, Andy does. Comrie does. UPL, I don't know.
I highly doubt UPL does.
That's my point. If we start UPL on the first black and red night, I'm going to freak the fuck out.
Yeah. So for
non-goalies, Duane, can you explain why that's important?
Well, UPL was, I'm not even sure if he was born the last time they wore. Well, he was definitely born the last time they wore the goat head. It was 06.
He's never seen them play in the goat head, though.
Yeah, he's never seen them play in the goat head. But it's pretty cool story is that Andy has his son design all of his equipment. And
dude, how cool was that article?
Yeah, his son designed.
Especially after what? What's his wife's name?
What's up?
What's Andy's wife's name?
Nicole. She was the cancer survivor.
After what she went through and how that article when they talked about him designing the gear, how cool is that?
That's so cool, yeah.
Keep going.
But no, I definitely want to see. I'm excited to be there tomorrow night. Excited to bring back the goat head jersey. Maybe I'll take it off the wall here and wear that on that one. We'll see. But 2 years ago when that whole thing happened on the radio, them screwing up that night was a big reason why that phone call happened. So not often you get a second chance at redemption. And let's hope they knock it out of the park tomorrow night. Because
all right, my closing thoughts. You know how you chirp me for bringing up the OHL memories?
I don't do that as often.
No.
as you do.
Time out. You know how sometimes I get carried away?
Yeah.
I'm chirping you right there for bringing up your call. But no, you're absolutely right. That was a huge part of it. And I think it woke up some people in the organization. So a couple clicks for you. In finishing for me, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Now that high school season's starting, I'm going to be able to do a little bit more. I know me and you talked about that off the air, but we're going to have some more regular shows coming out. Thanks for bearing with me, folks. Duane, always a pleasure. Go Sabres, baby.
Absolutely. Again, this has been another edition of I'll Hang Up and Listen. Hosted most of the time by me, but Johnny Cullen kind of got a little carried away tonight. St. Mary's hockey, repping right there. But
hey, and I just got the job coaching Frontiers varsity team.
Yeah. Had a great time tonight, Cole.
I love you, Duane. Great commentary, great breakdown, great show.
Great. Thank you. Get ready for 90s night tomorrow. Going to be a great time.
You want to try to do something when you get home?
What's up?
You want to try to do something when you get home?
Tomorrow night?
Yeah.
We can try and make that happen.
Because I put the kids to bed by 10. You'll be home after that, right?
Yeah. We can talk about it tomorrow if you want.
All right, let's plan on that. I had a bunch of fun tonight. And hey, to all the listeners, apologies. I went through about a 3-week sickness. I had to make up a ton of stuff. My apologies that I haven't been as consistent. Duane could have kicked me off the show. He's done a great job at keeping this thing afloat. And I want you to know I truly appreciate that, Duane, not giving up on me and giving me a chance to get back in here. So much love, brother. I loved your analysis tonight. Thought you were bang on. Real quick, your 3 stars for tonight, and then we'll end it.
I don't know how you don't give Jeff Skinner the first star, second star.
5 points.
I think I'm going right up and down the lineup. That first line, I think I'm going.
Did you watch the post-game show? Are you copying Marty?
No, I don't even watch. I don't watch those.
No, but hey, you're right. How do you turn down a line that contributed 12 points?
They gave you 12 points tonight between the 3 of them. So I think you go right down that line. Skinner, Tuck, third star, or Skinner, Tage, and Tuck. 1, 2, 3.
All right, can I give you mine?
Let's hear it.
I got Skinner number 1. I got Thompson number 2, and I got Tyson Jost number 3. Strictly for getting the boys going.
Yep.
But there's a lot of honorable mentions. Duane, before our show tomorrow, let's take a look at possible. I like your idea. I think that if we took some of the pressure off Cousins and moved him down a line and brought in a legit two center, I think that might get us over the hump. Let's both take a look at Cap Friendly tomorrow and see what could possibly make it work.
That, as well as a true second pairing guy for Owen Power for sure.
I love it. All right. Hey, good night. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, bud. I appreciate you hopping on. Everybody, this is I'll Hang Up and Listen. Brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case over on Jordan Boulevard. For all your Sabres game night, Bills game day needs, get over to Outlet Liquor. What's your outlet? And as always, let's go Sabres.
Hey, go ahead night, Duane. On a scale of 1 to 12 to 6 to midnight, where are you at with the Goat Head jerseys?
Midnight, 100%.
There we go, baby. Good night, Sabres fans. Love you, Duane.
Sabres.